Crimson and gold on parchment so fine, layers of stories beneath the twine. Imagination blooms in each little fold, the secrets and whispers courageously told. Sugar Pepper Press with a magic light.
Hey guys, it's Christine from Sugar Pepper Press, and today I have for you something so cool. I'm so excited to tell you about it. It is a signature folio, and this theme is a devotional called Speak Lord, and we're going to get right into it, okay? Because it's full of hidden layers and like little moments. I kind of think about the stories that we carry. And so I'm going to show you how I built mine. And then you can actually use this with the blueprint to create. You can use this video with the blueprint to create your own folio, and any future themes that I release in this signature folio you can use with the blueprint. So your blueprint will be like this, and it is labeled on how to put it together, or how it's laid out, I guess. That's why I call it a blueprint. Yours won't have a black box here because it'll have a QR for this particular YouTube video. So anyway, but you'll have this with no matter what the theme is that I release, it will look like this. So let's go ahead and get into it. And the first thing I want to tell you is about the papers that I created to go along with it. I actually include, excuse me, I've got to tickle my throat. I just all of a sudden started like coughing when I was getting ready to film this, and I was just like, okay, this has to stop. I don't know where it's coming from. Anyhow, I created 3 papers to go along with this because it is such a large folio. There is a lot of ephemera and a lot of things with it. And I wanted you to have the variety to add to the back of your pages and things if you wanted to, or the back of your pieces, to create the kind of backing that you want. I will say the way that I do mine, I am a little bit more random about it. I've run everything through the printer, and then I open up these 3 pages and I put them in, Mac has the preview mode, so I put them in preview mode. I open them up as JPEGs, and then I will just run however many pages I have in my printer. There's 3 here, so I just run it through that many times. Like I say, like I want 6 copies of the 3 pages, which would give you 18. Anyhow, that's how I do mine. You can be more systematic with yours if you want. For instance, if you wanted to be able to write on the back of all of your tags and all of your cards, you may want to pick something that is a little bit more subtle, like this. Or even like this. This has some areas that are really subtle. Or if you want like purely decorative, you may want to go for this paper. So I gave you a lot of options here specifically for that reason. So let's get started. We're gonna start with the foundation. We're gonna build 1 layer at a time. Let's do it. Okay, so there is a lot to this. This actually, including the backing papers, is 28 pages. It's huge. But I'm so excited with how it turned out, and I think you're just gonna love it. So let's go. I've got different kinds of pieces too. So you've got your base layers, you've got your flip outs, and then you've got little pieces that go on top. So I've got some notes here. I want to talk about how you're going to close it. So for the closure, I have included some of the these little discs. Okay. I'm sorry, this cord is here and it's bothering me, and I've just got to get some clips that will like hold things. It's the only thing I know how to do. Okay. I know the only thing I know to do with this. Okay, anyway, you have these little button tabs that you can use. I've included some plain ones, and I included a couple with images on them. And you can use these like the little file folder closure if you want. I'm actually just going to use ribbon to close mine because I really love the way that it's kind of keeps everything, you know, handmade looking. But you can use these little discs. You can use a belly band, make a belly band with some of the extra paper. You could use magnets, although I'm not sure how they would hold up. This is a pretty thick folio, so I'm just not positive of how the placement. You would have to figure that out and where you would put it if you wanted to use magnets. It might not hold it as tight. Also, I want to note on this version that I'm putting together right now, I'm actually using the ESV verses that are in the Bible study. However, when I release it in the store, I will also be releasing an NIV version and a KJV version of this folio. So the verses are right here, and they're just that one little part, but there will be versions so that you can choose whichever translation you prefer. Okay? Okay, so let's get started now that we've all covered all that. Excuse me. Okay, so you have an inside and an outside cover. Again, I've talked about this in previous videos. I really like the sturdiness that using two bases together creates. However, it does create a little bit of bulk. It does make it a little bit harder to fold at the beginning. Once it gets, you know, really worked in, you don't have any issue like that. So, and y'all, whenever I talked about this, I think in my last video, but I have this My Sweet Petunia. I don't get anything for telling you about it, but it's the glue gun. And I actually went and right before I bought, the last time I used it, I squirted a little bit out of the tip and it went onto the little silicone doohickey. And today when I got it back out to use it, I just pulled that little bit of glue off and boom, it was ready to go. And I love that. I love that. So this is your inside base. So you've got your panel 1 and your flap, and then you've got your panel 2 and panel 3. Okay, so you are just going to align it right here. I have scored, so I have scored everything, cut everything out, scored it, and inked it before this video. And I just used the Tim Holtz Vintage Photo ink is what I've used on this. Okay, and that's of course totally optional. You will notice, and I've notated this on every page, which pages need backing paper and which do not. Of course, you don't have to use the backing paper at all, but if you want that finished look, then I've notated which pages need it and which ones don't. Okay, like your base does not need that. Okay, this is your outside panel. Look, so you got panel 1 and a flap, then you've got panel 2 and panel 3. Look at the church. I created these for y'all, and I just love them. I just love them. And there's a lot of variety in this too. So it has kind of, it can go any direction as far as season. You've got some fall images, but it doesn't have to be fall. Like this looks fall, but it's got this pinky kind of color in it. And I created the images like that for a reason. I wanted you to feel like you could use it any time of the year. So the Bible study on this is called Speak, Lord, and it is about hearing from the Holy Spirit, and it's a 10-day devotional Bible study. I know we could go either way on that, but it's not like an in-depth Bible study. It's more of a reflection with scripture and kind of some reflection questions, but we'll talk about that a little bit more. So here are your bases. You've got your inside base, your outside base. And now before we glue these together, we're going to glue these flaps. So these flaps they flip up at the top, they flip down at the bottom, okay? And I've notated what to do on them. This one's for panel 3, and this one's for panel 1. So we're going to turn this over here. So these two will go like this, but we're not going to glue them together. And if you did want to try magnets, this is when I would recommend putting them in, is before you glue these pieces together. So on this, all we're doing is gluing. We're going to fold this in here and then fold here. And then we are going to leave this open. So we're just going to glue right here and right here. And then we're going to fold it down. Okay, so this one is going on panel 1 on the inside. So it's going to go like this. And it honestly doesn't matter. I've put 4 different papers here so you could see and decide. It doesn't really matter. I will say that the way it's designed is that you take this tab and it goes right here. It glues to the inside panel up like this, right? But that's just so that the hidden pocket, which is right here, can go on the inside. If you want to turn it around, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to blow up if you decide you want it this way, okay? So the way that it is on the images, the way that it was designed to be put together is this direction, okay? I'm going to do the same thing here. So I'm just gluing and gluing. And I'm so excited to be able to offer more folios to you. I've got one coming. I've got part of it printed, and I had actually started doing the video before, and I did mess up on it, and I'm sorry for the shaking camera. You know, we're just not professional movie makers over here, but so we do what we can do. Anyhow, so this one will glue right here. So it says attached to panel 3 inside. This is your inside. This is panel 3 right here. Okay. And I'm going to score that a little bit better so that it folds well whenever we get it in there. Okay, so let's stick that in. So I think, okay, so in the flaps, okay. So anyway, I was saying I'm excited to have some more, a little bit more in-depth folios created for you to do, because those do require videos, or at least I think they do. It's a lot to put it onto a paper, you know, onto a page and try to explain it in text. It's easier to show you actually with moving parts. So that's why I think that it's really better when they when I have a video and I can show you that. And now that my husband's doing my videos, it's going to be so much easier. So let me see where I'm at. Okay. Yes, here we go. Just trying to stay on task here. I'm working on a new kit, y'all, and it is gonna be gorgeous. I'm just telling you, it is gorgeous. I've created the images for it, and then I needed a pause while I had daylight and could work on this. And so these flap in this way, right? Okay. Now we're gonna glue this together. Now, this is, you want to do your best to get everything lined up. Of course, like I always say, nothing is going to happen if it doesn't line up perfectly. No, there is not a junk journal folio police that's going to come get you. but we do want it to look nice and we do want it to work correctly. So we're going to do it like this. We're going to start at this spine right here. And that way, if we see something going wrong, we can correct it from that point. Okay, I'm going to stack that. Ta-da. Okay, that's done. Now, we're going to start adding in some of the pockets. So we've got some different pockets here. And I'm going to show you what I've included here. So you've got, this pocket goes on the back. While I'm holding it, I'm going to go ahead and seal that up. So I'm just tucking these little tabs in and then closing that up. And that way it can dry while we're sitting here working on the other pieces. Okay, there's that. These two pockets right here go here on the top flap, okay? And this is kind of where our layering starts. We're going to add these pockets here. Actually, those don't go there. Not true. These go down here. And these like little pieces of personality, I think they're so exciting. She could tuck in prayers and photos and memories and notes and whatever you want, okay? While we're here though, I'm showing you this. This is actually a little, it's a little hidden tuck layer card, okay? It's got a pocket. The pocket goes right here in the middle, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and glue it down so it can dry. And that way it's ready to go whenever we are. Okay, so my little pocket goes here on the inside. And you'll see I printed this on. I just love this paper. And so you'll see it on the back of mine. You use whatever you want. If you want to add some more space for journaling, this would be a great place to do that. There's some little cards that go in this too. So we'll let that sit, okay? And we're gonna come here. So you've got two of these expandable pockets, okay? I have added a line here on where they're supposed to be folded, and you can kind of see it here, okay? And that way you know, but essentially you're just going to tuck back your tab. Right here where the pocket comes together, this is where I would fold this and really burnish it, you know, well there. And then right here is where you're going to actually fold this little triangle in half, okay? So I've already done mine, but you just fold it on that line. It gets a little tricky right here, but you can take like your bone folder or your fingernail or any kind of like pin or sharp point of some sort, and you just fold that in on itself. So what that does is it creates this expandable pocket, okay? So do the same thing here, burnish it well, fold that in half down to here. I'm going to take my bone folder and kind of like hold it and crease right there. Okay, and then come back here. Okay. And then fold this tab up right there. Okay. Now this is your smaller pocket of the two. So it is actually going to layer on top like this. Okay. So let's do the same one here. I should have started with this one. I did not think about it. Okay, so now we're going to glue this down, and it is going to go right down here. Okay, so I'm kind of holding everything in at the same time and placing it down. So you can see how those fold under like that. You're not really going to see those folds. Seal that real good. Sorry about the shaking. I wonder what I can do about that. Let's think through that. Okay. This one is just going right on top of here, and you just nest it however you want. Okay. Okay, y'all be on, y'all make sure you join my mailing list. I am actually in the process of making a website that's for a freebie vault. It's a secret. And so that's very exciting. It is a very long process, so I've been trying to work on it a little bit at a time. But I think I'm going to put together a freebie that is specific for this. And I'm going to offer that to my mailing list. Now, there's two different options here, okay? This is the flap that's going to go over your pockets, okay? You can glue it to the back to the base, okay? And if you do that, you're going to fold it like this so that this pretty paper shows, okay? And you're going to fold it like this, and it's going to go over those two. Okay, and this one, because of the thickness here, is going to take a while to press down. You know, it's gonna come over time. Okay, to get that done. However, you could also add it to just the inside of this pocket. Let me show you what that looks like right there. See that? Okay, and you could add it to the inside of this pocket. And then it would just flap down over the front pocket like that. And then it would be open in the back like that. Either way, you can do whatever you want, okay? I'm going to add it to the back. So I'm kind of just measuring it so that it's going to come down like this. And I am going to glue these pieces together. So right on the inside of this, normally you would not need to put any backing paper on this, but I think there was a card or something on that page that I wanted to have the backing paper on, and so I printed one on there. Of course, you know, some things it just may not matter, but it starts to get a little tricky when I'm putting, you know, different pieces that I want to make sure include. I have to stick them in different places. That way everything fits great. And I try to make everything as silhouette accessible as possible. Like, I want you to be able to put things through your silhouette or your Cricut. Also, if anybody knows, I want to know, because I've not owned a Cricut, I would like to know, is the cutting area on the Cricut different than the silhouette? In the silhouette, you have these little notches of the area that you have to not have anything in so that the registration marks are accessible, you know, and can be viewed when you stick it in the machine. I want to know if the Cricut has those same registration marks or if this area is larger. So if you know, if you have owned both and know the difference, or even if you haven't owned both but you know the difference, I can't find a definitive answer anywhere. So I would love to know. This would be a great place for a magnet right here. I'm rethinking that right there. Let me do that. You know, I really like that idea. Let me pause. Okay, I have decided to use little magnets on this to make sure that it closes down. So, little magnet here. And honestly, like I would, if I had it to do over, I would open this up and tuck the magnet inside. But I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to glue a magnet right on this side and right on this side. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm putting one here and one here just to hook them together. I'm going to make sure that that closes. I'm going to tuck that down a little bit further here. Make sure that that closes, and then I'm going to glue. So I'm going to put a big glob there and close that down. And then I'm going to set something on top of this to hold that down. Let's see if I got enough heavy stuff. Let's see. We're gonna, it's craft Jenga. Okay. There. We're going to let that sit for a second, okay? And this is when I'm going to start doing the other piece, and then we'll come back to the rest of that, okay? I've got these little pockets. That's my outside pocket. This is my window frame. So this goes up here. I'm going to flip this around here. Okay. This is going to go right on top of here. So we're going to glue this down. And we want to leave the top open. Okay, so we have these tabs. I'm going to just burnish this a little bit more. Okay. So I just think it's so cute because it's like with this little window panel, this little window frame panel thing, it just kind of, it's cool because you get like a little glimpse of what's inside, but not the whole story. And I just think that that's like so fitting for when we're talking to the Lord. We have to be quiet and we have to like sit and listen. We don't get the whole story just from the outside. We have to be in relationship with Him to get a fuller picture. And to me, that's kind of like this window. You don't see the whole story from the outside, but you get a little glimpse. Okay, so let's see how this is doing. Got that glued in there. We're going to come back and I'll show you like the card that I built to go in here. You can pick whatever you want, and then you've got cards that go in here, and we've got this. Let's see how this is doing. We're going to lift. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take this now that I've kind of got the positioning done, and I'm going to take my little clamp and clamp that closed. And then I'll come back and do this part. Do this other magnet, okay? Let's come back to this part now. We've got our little folded card thing. So this gets burnished really well so that it will close, stay closed. And I say we don't even get the whole story with the Lord. You know, we won't get that until after we die and we are with Him in heaven, and it will be a glorious day. I included a lot of, you'll see them throughout here. I included a lot of hymns in this set, Look, Sweet Hour of Prayer. And there's some other cards with hymns on them. Okay, so for this one, all you're going to do, you've got this tab goes up, okay? You're going to glue this tab, and you're going to take a little bit of glue right along this outside edge. And what that does is it creates a little bit of a pocket for you to tuck stuff in, okay? So if you put it right over here to the side, like this, then you will have plenty of room to tuck stuff inside here once it dries and we open it back up. I'm really giving that a good hard push to make sure it's down. So look, when you open it up like this, you've got a little place for a card here. There's a card that size to fit here. And then you also have a spot going this way. So I don't want to mess with it too much until it dries. Okay. We can see right here, this is still drying. You can see the white glue, it's still wet. We've done our window pocket here, okay? And then now we're going to work on our signature, okay? While this is all still drying, okay? So our signature, the way that our signature works is it is actually glued. I did not print backing paper on the back of any of these. It is glued back to back so that you don't have to sew it in, and it sits right inside here. So I'm going to show you one thing I want to do before I glue it together. So the days line up. Okay, so on the left, on the very first page, you'll see that this is empty, and then your day 1 starts here, okay? That is going to get glued to the back of day 2. These are all out of order because I was just going along, folding and inking as I went along. You've also got part of the signature is 2 completely blank pages. And if you want to, you could glue one of those at the beginning of the signature. Okay, so here's your day 2. And it is going to get glued to the back of, where did I put it? Here we go. It's going to get glued right here. So you've got blank page, day 1, then day 2, day 3. I have another set of devotional pages in my shop that is kind of a healing set and reflection. Those, I need to link those. I'm going to link those. Let's see if we can try a little thing. I'm going to link those here. Where did I don't know where you would do that. I'm going to link those here. I'll be like one of those professional YouTubers. So if you want to find them, they're up here in this corner. I'm being a goofball, I know. Anyway, you're going to glue these here, back to back. Before I do that, I want to add something kind of fun to these. So on this edge, I'm just going to trim off the very edge with this Tim Holtz decal edge cutter. I just think it's fun, and I have not used it nearly enough to justify the cost. So we're going to do that right here. I just want to trim off the very, very edge. So I'm going to put it right past the 4-inch mark here, and just, okay, look. How fun is that? Okay, I would love to know, comment here. Do you like your books with the decal edge, or do you like it just a plain? You know how they have, sometimes they'll offer this decal edge in books? I'm so curious. Some of my kids just don't like it. They think it's weird. They think it makes it look old. And I'm like, that's the point. That's the point. So you can see I'm just snipping off this very edge. So I'm going to go along and do this, and then we're going to start gluing together, and we're going to put some music here so that we can speed this up and you're not bored to death. Okay, for this, I'm actually going to use lipstick. Okay, I'm going to glue these last 2 pages on here. And then I'm going to show you how we're going to glue it in. Okay, so on this one, I'm not going to glue as far over here. I just want a little bit of give in that spine area. Okay, I'm going to switch to my liquid glue. And we're going to flip this flap down, and then we're going to place this so that, so see, I have a little bit of give here, and we want our signature to, we want this edge here, this seam, fold, we want it to end right here, okay? And then this one, we're going to pull it a little bit, and we want it on this side of the spine. And that way, when we open it up and when we close it, it's going to land correctly. So it'll be kind of like stretched out, I guess, if you will, okay, right along here. Let me show you what that looks like here. So I want this edge to be on this side and this edge to be on this side of the spine. Okay. So this is the heart of the folio, okay? This is where you write your thoughts and where, you know, anything you want to write down can live here. This is, I also, just so you know, I printed this on cardstock because I liked the sturdiness of it in the folio. If you use any kind of like copy paper or a thinner, something thinner than cardstock, I would recommend just testing it when you glue the pieces together. How's that gonna look? Is it gonna wrinkle your paper, essentially? So now I'm going to kind of stretch like I'm pulling on this edge, and that's going to go on this side. So okay. So I'm holding it over here, and I'm pressing it right down on the other side of that spine, okay, and then gluing. And what I'll probably do is I have some of my deckled edging that doesn't exactly line up here. I might come back in and just ink the edges right here. I had already inked them, but then I cut it, so you know, they're not inked anymore. So just right along this edge, I'll probably come in and do that. Okay, so then once that's in, you're going to want to come in with your spine, and you want to kind of fold this up here so that this gets a good crease. So you're going to pull your spine up and move it like this so that you get a good bend there. And then you want to do the same on this side. You're going to want to crease it, bend it back a little bit, and give that a good bend there. Okay, now that's in there. Okay, and so when you do that, what it's going to do is it's going to allow this part to stay flat because it folds up here. So when you open it, you have these are just, they feel so strong. I really like the way that the pages feel strong when you're flipping it. It feels like a, I don't know, a little bit like a hardback book, I guess. Yeah, so, okay. Now we're going to go in and we're going to build our pockets in. Okay, let's check on this. This looks like it's done. Yep, it's good. It's not moving. So I'm going to take my little magnet, if I can find it. Where did it go? There it is. Okay. And I'm placing my magnet here, or I'm sorry, I'm placing my magnet underneath, which is probably where I should have started. And then I'm going to close it so it does that. Now what I'm going to do is hold that and open it here. So I want my magnet to be placed right here, and I'm going to glue it on the side that is going to be on the inside. So this is the side I'm going to glue. Putting a bit of glue here. I'm going to place it. I'm a little bit of a renegade on some things. And I don't really have a right to be because it doesn't always work out. But I have jeans, so I'm wiping this on my jeans. I'm not sure if that's a great idea. I'm going to place it right here, and then I'm going to come in and I'm going to close it. Okay, let's let that sit for just a minute. Alexa, set a 2-minute timer.
2-minute timer started.
Okay, so we're going to put some pockets here real quick. So, and then we're finishing this up. So on these pockets, the way I've designed them is I have 2 and 2. Okay, you don't have to put them here. You could put one here. In fact, I'll probably do that. Probably put one there. They're just really little, simple corner tucks of sorts. Okay, and I'm going to put one here. Let that sit for a second. I'm going to flip this over. And I think I'll put one here. You could also like switch this up a little bit if you wanted to do something like this. You would probably just want to cut this little tab off right there. If you wanted these to be like taller, not so wide. I just love all the patterns and the colors in this. I love the way everything came together. Sometimes as I'm working on things, I'm like, no, and I kind of go back and forth a lot. I do. I really go back and forth a lot about things. And then it starts to really just mesh and blend, and you're like, oh, yes, this is great. It's beautiful. It's amazing. And that's how I feel like it doesn't always happen immediately. It's slow process. So I'm gonna put this one back here because I really love the way those colors come together. Alexa, stop. So that's my magnet timer. I'm gonna come. I want to make sure I can just still open it. That's why I set that timer. So I want it to set, but not too hard. And before I check it, I'm just going to throw this one in. Okay. Okay, now I want to lift it up here, and I'm just opening this. And the reason I did that is because there is a little bit of glue here. I'm just going to let it set because it's not touching anything else. Even the top of this is not touching it. So I'm going to let that set. And I'm going to just close that and let that. Okay, now, last bit of this. So we're going to turn this, and oh wait, I have this for you too. So there is so much ephemera here. You've got fussy cuts, little ones, bigger ones. And I've got these little labels for you. I'll show you those in a second. Then you've got these. And here I created this. It's kind of like a title. To me, that's what it reminded me of, is putting a little title here. So I'm going to glue that right there. I hope y'all love this. I hope you love it as much as I do, and I just can't wait to start using it in the morning. So I'm going to glue that there. Okay. And then let me show you what I have here. So I have a couple of lined cards here. This little card fits right in here. See? And then folds out that way. This one, I don't think that fits in there, no. This one can go right here. So this was designed, so this is glued on the edge here, and then it's glued to the bottom here, but it creates like a little pocket, so you can stick something in there like that. And here are your little labels. So prayer and promise, reflection and response, stillness and strength, gratitude and grace. So on this, I think I want to do, I definitely want to do reflection and response right here. Because like any cards that I write on, and I can stick them here. And then I want to be reminded of his promises here. Put that one right there. And then I've got two more here. Here's stillness and strength and gratitude and grace. I'm going to put this one here. And then on this last one, I just want this to be a reminder of what it means to be still and receive strength from him. And I kind of want that as like an ending note here. Okay, so there's those labels. And then I've got these cards. So you've got the sweet hour of prayer, every step closer reveals his grace, his word leads, my heart follows. And then got one here, his whisper steadies my wandering heart, and his voice calls me towards surrender. These, so I created this one to go inside here. So this goes in this little pocket right here. And these big ones, you could journal in the back of them. So like this one would be a good one to journal on. You could also double these up. There's plenty of space. So you could double these up and put another. If you do print on these, you could just double the card up and it slides right in there. This one slides right in here. Okay, and then I've got lots of these. I've got little tags for you here. This one, Sweet Hour of Prayer. This one says praises, prayers, like the path I cannot see, when peace like a river, Jesus is calling. This one's like a little shaped card. This one says still moments for still moments. Still moments for still moments. That came to mind. So, Holy Spirit, teach me the language of stillness. Open my eyes that I may see. Those are the hymns that are in there. So these, you can journal in the back of them, and you can just tuck these all over wherever you want. And you can tuck them in these little pockets right here. Open that up, make sure. There we go. And then got these little, stick a couple little tags in there. Yeah. These are some more of the church images. This would be, so like prayers, I'm going to do this here. Put this little prayer one here. And then stick some here. Put some more, I think I'll grab some more cards. Also, if you have my vintage, or what did I call it? Victorian Virtue set of scripture snippets, these would be so perfect to tuck in here. So I've got these little fussy cuts. And you could, these can like go wherever you want, okay? It can actually be like, you could put a little piece of foam tape on these and they could go wherever. Okay. There's a couple more here. Okay, so the way this folds up is this panel goes up. You've got your devotional here. This panel goes down. Then you fold it over. You can just crease this really good right here so that it folds well. And then this folds right here, and this folds over here. And then let's go ahead and put our pocket. This pocket goes right on the back. Oh, and I also I included some little word snippets here for you. This would be a great place for another magnet. So I'm just going to go ahead and make the freebie and then put it on my email list, and it will be going into the vault when I finish that. So if you're not on my email list when this goes out, then don't worry. It's going to go in the vault, and you'll have access to it there. So that's it. And it is actually made to either go inside of this little pocket here, or it can be in this back pocket. And you know what? I may even include some extra little cards, because I love giving y'all stuff. And if I'm going to create it for myself, then I would love for you to have it as well. So let me tie this off. Here we go. Go ahead and put that magnet there now. I think I'll put that. That'd be cute. There. Okay guys, that's all. Thanks so much for joining me today and putting together the Signature Folio. I can't wait to see what you think, and I hope to keep bringing lots more fun projects to you. See you later. Bye.
Crimson and gold on parchment so fine, layers of stories beneath the twine. Imagination blooms in each little fold, the secrets and whispers courageously told. Sugar pepper press, where the magic lies, in swirls of ink and old-time tide.